diesel is far from dead, at least according to Mazda. They have new details on their new inline 6 diesel engine heading for Europe and many parts of the world. Will we see it here stateside? How good is this engine? Why diesel in the era of electrification? Let's get into it. We're over at the UK Mazda newsroom. Mazda announces low-emission inline-6 diesel engine for CX-60. Now, while we won't be getting the CX-60 here stateside, we'll be getting a slightly larger version, the CX-70, based off the same rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, new platform for the Mazda premium luxury grade sort of vehicles. We don't know what these things are going to cost here stateside. Anyways, the plug-in hybrid's insane. 323 horsepower. It's the most powerful factory Mazda ever. You'll have 30 miles of range on it, etc. But we'll also be getting inline 6s from the gasoline side, but Mazda says, no, if you're in Europe, we want to give you diesel. Diesel is still king in many parts of the world. So let's read into this new engine and how Mazda has baked new technology in it to make diesel more relevant than ever. This setup will be added to the Mazda CX-60 lineup in 2023, joining the plug-in hybrid we just talked about. And you can order it right now. Mazda says this diesel is to meet customers' needs who want an efficient, long-distance driving car with great towing capacity. Their approach is almost identical to Toyota's. They're calling this multi-solution strategy to offer different products, different technology, different propulsion systems to different markets in different parts of the world. And I know all manufacturers do that to some degree, but definitely Mazda is a little bit more diverse and more archaic, which is not a bad thing because so many of us still want internal combustion engines to reign supreme. We just want cheaper gas and cheaper diesel. Is there anything wrong with that? We have a 3.3 liter inline 6 Skyactiv diesel engine. Now it says eSkyactiv, so that means it's paired to its mild hybrid system that we'll talk about here shortly. They say it's one of the cleanest diesel engines in the world, achieving a thermal efficiency of over 40%. The 3.3 liter displacement is there to improve both fuel and power efficiency. So you have two power outputs of this diesel. You have a 200 PS, which is probably somewhere around 195 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, and 254 PS, which is probably like 250, 248 horsepower. I'll put exactly what those numbers are on the screen for you guys. Now, the only way you get the more powerful setup is in the all-wheel drive system. We don't have torque figures yet, and that's what diesel is all about, baby. It's that torque, that low-end power, that fuel efficiency at low revs. And we talked briefly about mild hybrid before. It's a 48-volt system. They call it the M Hybrid Boost. And when you combine it with the diesel system, like we said in the 254 horsepower version, we get 0 to 60 miles an hour in 7.4 seconds and a WLTP average fuel consumption of 53 miles per gallon, which equates to around 46.5 miles per gallon here stateside. The 200 PS variant achieves even better fuel economy at 57.6, which is 50 miles per gallon here stateside. 50 miles per gallon in a huge crossover SUV. That is incredible. Towing capacity, they're saying, is 2,500 kilograms, and we're talking 5,500 pounds of towing capacity. But that's all they have to say about the diesel here, because they go on to more powertrains. They're saying the inline 6, straight 6, 3 liter eSkyactiv petrol engine, which we haven't seen on the market yet. I also don't think we've seen official specifications of it. They'll say it'll join the Skyactiv D and Skyactiv PHEV to complete the Mazda CX-60 power plant lineup at a later date. Mazda wants to be carbon neutral by 2050. They are launching 5 new electrified products in the next 3 years that feature its multi-solution platform architecture. After 2025, the company will launch its brand new Skyactiv EV scalable architecture, which will allow Mazda to efficiently build electric cars of all sizes using one common platform. They'll probably beat Subaru to the punch. I don't think Subaru is going to launch their own platform till maybe 2026, 2027, I think was when they're going to build their own EV plant. And then Honda also doesn't have their own next generation EV platform until 2025. So Mazda kind of right where the rest of the Japanese automakers are. Of course, Toyota is, with the deep pockets that they have, they already have their TNGA platform out. Now, all the vehicles on that have been recalled because of the wheels have been falling off. But yes, growing pains, a new assembly line, new platform, new technology, but wheels. You can't get wheels right. Anyways, I'm not going to go down that road right now. So let's get on over to the spreadsheet because we're not getting this diesel here in the United States. I hate to break it to you guys. Mazda's tried to bring diesel here so many times in the past, and they did it for a little bit with the CX-5. Was that, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, but they didn't even like make a press release of it. And then they canceled it without making a press release either. So it's just like a complete failure to deliver the product here stateside. And diesel just doesn't have the same appeal and customer interest that it does in Europe and other parts of the world. Only way diesel does have interest in the customer's eyes is in pickup trucks. And that is not what Mazda specializes here in the States, even though they do have the BT50 elsewhere. And I remember like in 2012 when the new generation Mazda 6 came out, they kept talking about how they're working on the diesel to bring to the States, and it never happened in the Mazda 6. So anyways, diesel and Mazda is a sore talking point for me and for many other Mazda enthusiasts here in North America. But let's talk about what we're going to get here in the CX-70 and the CX-90. This tiny Japanese automaker from Hiroshima, Japan continues to surprise us. And not only are they working with a rotary engine to put into a plug-in hybrid, almost like a range extender for some of their vehicles in the future, potentially a new RX-7. But anyways, let's get into these new powertrains that they'll be putting in to the CX-70, CX-90 here stateside, and we'll also talk about that diesel because we have it up on the screen as well. I speculated on this powertrain because I do think it's a possibility in certain markets, especially here in the United States, because they just don't have enough electrified options here. So this would help them, especially with their fleet regulations and fleet emissions, to have 2.5 liter hybrid electric setup. Now this setup might not be that different than what we see in the CX-50. That should be coming out of the Alabama plant. And this could be a Toyota hybrid system, but we'll see. It's hard to say because this is a rear-wheel drive based system, but I still don't think a 2.5 liter hybrid is out of the equation for the CX-50 as kind of the base engine. Okay, so let's upgrade. We have the 2.5 liter plug-in hybrid. This is probably the global range topping engine solution or powertrain solution. 323 horsepower, 368 pound-feet of torque. The EV motor alone provides 134 horse, 30 miles of range or more. And the models we'll see this in here, stateside, the 70, the 90, globally CX-60, CX-80, and that's the battery size of it. All right, so we have this 3 liter inline 6 Skyactiv X potential engine. We don't know if I don't think Mazda has said it's a Skyactiv X engine yet. They just haven't given us too many details on it. But these are the numbers I'm expecting: 282 horsepower, 265 pound-feet of torque, and of course the 48 volt mild hybrid. And this is pretty much the setup that Europe is going to see to have the trinity of powertrains. You have 2 diesels, I guess, lump that into one. You have the plug-in hybrid, and then you have the inline 6 Skyactiv X engine. Now, here stateside, it has been I don't think it's been officially confirmed by Mazda at this point, but a lot of sources are saying that there's going to be a Skyactiv G turbo version of this 3 liter inline 6. And if you just extrapolate from the 2.5 Skyactiv G turbo right here, you add some displacement to it, we're talking easily 325 horse, 400 plus pound-feet of torque. They could also twin turbo this. They could also twin power it, give it an electric supercharger if they want, as well as a turbo. They've patented that technology, gosh, what was it, about a year ago? And that's a very similar technology to what Volvo uses, right? On their plug-in hybrids and their T6s and the T8s. Anyways, can't wait to see what they show for the American market with this new Skyactiv G turbo inline 6. Man, can you imagine a new potential RX, Toyota or Lexus using this setup? It's going to be very cool, very fun. Skyactiv D, we talked about this, 2 options for the markets that it is employed in. And I think these torque numbers are pretty accurate here. 405 pound-feet of torque and 369 for the less powerful version of the Skyactiv D. Of course, these are both 48 volt mild hybrids. So it's pretty insane that Mazda's new lineup of crossovers is going to have a plethora of engine options: plug-in hybrid, potential normal hybrid, a bunch of mild hybrids with gasoline inline 6s and diesel inline 6s, and a potential mild hybrid with this Skyactiv inline 6 turbo that we'll be getting here stateside. But I'm going to end it there. Do you think Mazda is doing the right thing by including diesel into their future? I think it's a safe bet in my opinion, especially as most parts of the world. Infrastructure is just not going to be there anytime soon for full-on electric cars. I'm going to end it there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe for more Mazda news, reviews.